Hey everybody, I know a lot of people's probably wondering where have I been, and this is one of the hardest posts I've ever had to make. On Christmas Eve, I lost my husband to a cardiac arrest heart attack. I had to have some emotional time for myself, so this is the reason why I haven't been blogging. And I want to get back to it. It's not that I'm trying to avoid it. I have been sick off and on with, as y'all know, I have a lung infection. But I'd like to tell you my story. And then I'd like to tell you by the end my story, how I met my husband and what happened to him. And of course, now I've become a single mom. I'm widowed. And I would like to tell you by the end, maybe we're headed a little bit with the channel. This is hard and emotional, so bear with me, please. And it's just been hard to get back in the ring of things after such a traumatic experience. And you'll understand when I explain what happened. Now, I do want to go ahead and tell what happened to him because I want his memory to be preserved. In the video, you'll see little pictures here and there of when he was maybe younger and stuff. So, I want this to be a memory video of my husband too. But I'd like to first start out how we met. He was my love of my life, my high school sweetheart. I met him when I was only 12. My best friend was his cousin, and she lived at her grandmother's. And anyway, long story short, he came down from Nashville to visit. And he was 14, I was 12, little puppy love thing, little peck on the lip, kind of, oh, you're cute, stuff. And I knew right then I loved him. That he meant everything to me. And, we dated as teenagers. He had a car when he was 16, and so he started coming down and visiting. And we went out riding around, dating and stuff like that. And, of course, where he lived in another town, we didn't end up marrying until later in life. We both ended up marrying somebody else, and things happen. And, of course, I've got grown kids. He's got another child as well. And anyway, we dated for years after I divorced. We dated for years, but it was just hard for us to get together because he had a life. Not that he was married. He wasn't married no longer. He had divorced. He wasn't even married very long, but he had another child. And so he's got also a grown child. And I've got grown kids because I had also married somebody around here at that time. But anyway, after we was both divorced, we started dating again. And we dated for a long, long time, right at 9-10 years. And anyway, it was just hard for us he had a life there, I had a life here. So we finally got together where we could get married. And he moved down here to Kentucky from Nashville. And I got a cup of coffee, so... when we got married, that was 12 years ago. And that was 2012. And we had just a small ceremony. A few family members, some friends attended. And anyway, of course, we have a son together. We was blessed with our little boy in 2016. He is now 8 years old, Caleb is. And I had him at 42, my husband was 44. He's our only child we biologically have together. And he's been the light of our life, getting to have a child in our older years. Of course, he's the only one we technically got together. And even though we both love each other's children, but anyway, I did never imagine losing it at such a young age. Um, what happened? Okay, of course, Christmas Eve, we was at my husband's grandma's. His grandma's actually 92, gets around great, lives by herself, and just gets around great for her age. Anyway, the family was going to gather at her house. So Christmas Eve, was planning on a big Christmas together, with family. So anyway, my husband's mom was coming down from Nashville, and she came down on Christmas Eve to spend the night with her mom, which is my husband's grandma. And his grandma only lives no more than a mile from my house. So anyway, my husband had mentioned a couple of weeks ago or so that he needing some new lights for the Jeep. And anyway, my husband's mom's like, here, I'll get you some. And she ordered them. And anyway, he had just got them put on. So he's like, come out here and look at them. So anyway, they'd walked out together, looked at the new lights, he'd put on. He was proud of them. And I was sitting on the porch, the side deck there where basically the front door is. And anyway, my husband, he walked on the deck. I was sitting in a chair. It was a beautiful day out, almost like a fall day. It definitely didn't feel like Christmas Eve, it wasn't snowing or nothing like that. It was beautiful outside. Kind of maybe a little, and his head landed on my foot. I never imagined. Our son was standing in the big picture window door looking out at us. And I started hollering and waving, help, I need help. So he went and got his grandma, which is my husband's mom, and his uncle came out there. Excuse me. I'm on medicine trying to get over this lung infection. Cold weather had got it worse, but it's a beautiful day out today. So forgive me for the cough. And anyway, they got him turned over off my foot. And I won't go in complete detail. Excuse me again. I tried doing chest percussions and giving CPR. His mom was on the phone, paramedics, and 911, immediately. My husband was pretty much having no response at all. His mouth was a little open. I tried breathing in his mouth, which, things you see on TV. And the lady on the phone on 911, they said just give chest percussions. And I done the best I knew how to do. And so I was, giving them percussions. I had to take my arms a rest for a second, and his mom took over for a second, and then I went back to it. Paramedics got there. 7 to 10 minutes it took them, maybe. Of course, it seemed like a lifetime. And the next thing I remember, they told me to get back and get in, and then they hooked him up to a kind of electronic chest percussion where it just automatically repeats it. I remember seeing that. And anyway, I was inside watching from the window, but at a distance. After a few minutes, they loaded him up and took him in the ambulance. And of course, me and his mom, and we left my son with his grandma, great grandma, and we got there at the hospital anyway. And by the time we got to the hospital, we was met at the door, and some other family had arrived at that time. We'd called them on the way down there, and they started arriving. And anyway, they So the whole time they worked with him was about 45 minutes, and there was never no signs of life. So they said it was a immediate cardiac arrest. This was on 3:30 Christmas Eve afternoon of 2024. Something I never dreamed nor expected to happen. And then going home and telling my son that we just lost his dad. That was the hardest thing I ever done. I've tried to be there for him during this time I've been off from YouTube. I needed a break. If you want to call it a mental break or whatever, I just needed to figure out what I needed to do, what my next steps was, what my next steps of life was. You know, coming home without him being here, I just never would have dreamed it. It's just, the next day, Christmas, didn't even seem like Christmas, of course. I don't even know what to say on that day. I just, it was such devastation. I mean, the day after that, we had to go to the funeral home and pick out, you know, get arrangements made. Anyway, of course, we had his funeral, and he had a military funeral, and he was a veteran, and so on. You know, it was a nice funeral and stuff, and I've just had to take a break and kind of figure out life. Life of being a single mom now. I just never dreamed, of course, being a widow now. I got, me and my husband, or me and my son were able to do Social Security. So, I mean, for my husband's, you know, where he had a good work history, so I got that took care of. And you know, I want to be on YouTube and be able to log to you guys again. Even try to go back to daily content. Of course, my life has dramatically changed, and my son definitely is my first priority. Things might be a little different on my videos, but it's going to be more about my daily life, maybe some travel in there, whatever I want to do. I want you to join in with me. For a while there, I had to get away because I didn't know really how to present this. One thing, I didn't know if I wanted to talk about it yet. It's still so hard. It's still so fresh. When you lose your high school sweetheart, the love of your life, the man you was meant to, the person you pretty much chased after all of your life, and now they're gone. He was, as I always called him, he was my Michael. And now he's gone. And there ain't nothing I can do to ever bring him back, of course. And this was just, it was really hard. But I want to be able to work, to be able to blog for y'all guys again. And again, I want to take y'all to be my daily life. Things I do, things I want to share on here. So I want to thank you to all my subscribers for sticking with me. I know I hadn't been on a while. I needed some time. I needed some time to really just think and just take some time for myself and for my son. And just kind of know what life is without, you know, my husband being here now. But I still want everybody to join me in my content, and everyone that has stuck with me, I so appreciate it. On this video, I have been putting pictures on here, so I want this to be kind of a memory video of my husband. I miss him so much every day. I really, I miss it. I'd give anything if I could have him back, but I know that can't happen. And my son's doing okay. I mean, I do want, you know, from the passing of his father, he's doing okay. I mean, I talk with him about things. Always want to make sure he's okay with it. Does he need to talk to anybody? Whatever his needs are. Like I said, he's my first priority in life right now. And he's my big priority in life. He's the only thing me and my husband has now together. And he's part of my husband I have left. But I'm sorry, my lips are really dry. I've got a lot. This winter's been horrible on me, between my lung infection and all of it. And again, I do want to thank everyone that has stuck by with me. You know, I've been off a while. I could have lost my subscribers. And I want to thank every one of y'all that has stayed with me. Anybody that subscribes to my channel new, thank you for joining me. I hope you will enjoy more content I am going to create. Again, I'm planning on, maybe me and my son might do some traveling. The life daily vlogs again. What's my next thing I'm going to do? Eventually, I'm going to upgrade to home. You know, I own an older mobile home, and they do need repairs, so I'm kind of going to slide by off that because I'm a woman, and repairs are costly and things like that. Sometimes I think it's better just to kind of start over, and eventually I'm going to do that. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get off here for now. I'm going to try to do another vlog tomorrow, so stay tuned, everybody. And, you know, I'll try to get on here and maybe vlog tomorrow again. And thanks, everyone, for joining and listening to my story of my husband. This is kind of a memory video of him. And I'll be back, and just keep joining me for my vlogs. And we'll see what's going on next and what's next to my vlogs. Thank you, everybody.